I just want to understand um, how do we, how are you going to ask questions and then we will respond to it, or
Yeah.
do we have to?
No, I'll be asking some of the panel questions, so it becomes easier.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thanks. I guess we are live. All the best. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of ArdorComm education community and emerging community in academia sector, I, Chandan Anand, CEO and founder editor of ArdorComm Media Group, welcome all our eminent speakers representing the school education fraternity and our powered by partner Financepeer at today's yet another interesting session of Education Leadership Symposium series. I welcome all the delegates and attendees who managed to block your time to be a part of this virtual symposium. With your support and association, we feel privileged and glad to host this event. Let me invite your kind attention towards a small intro of ArdorComm Media Group. ArdorComm Media Group is a growing media company enabling communities of education, human resource, healthcare and wellness, governance, media entertainment and art to effectively advance their businesses and strategic interest by becoming their collaboration catalyst. Our passion is to co-create, co-learn, and collaborate for innovation and socio-digital transformation. Ardor means passion, zeal, and COM stands for community communication. Our five core values are aspiration, reimagination, digitalization, opportunity, and readiness, abbreviated as Ardor. We are a team of passionate enthusiasts who have taken an effort in co-creating positive changes in the society by collaborating with the community leaders like you to help co-create such knowledge sharing platforms. We aim to become India's leading and most desirable media voice by enriching community with the ecosystem of knowledge sharing platform, information, and news. We also are opening doors of networking and collaboration. Today is the fifth session of a 3-month long webinar series under the brand name of Education Leadership Symposium. In the previous sessions, we have the eminent speakers from the higher education fraternity representing universities and higher education institutions and various schools from Pan-India. We discussed how can blended learning change the dynamics of education system. We discussed how can planned financial solutions and technology collaborations aid in developing better digital infrastructure and digital campus. We also discussed how can skill development be enforced in educators with the help of technology to increase digital literacy. In last session, we discussed how innovation and financing partnerships will help reduce the urban-rural upheavals in education through easier financing. In today's theme, we will focus on what ways artificial intelligence and machine learning and student-centric technologies like robotics, big data, etc., are enabling institutions to track, access, and record teaching learning process. We have researched and carefully chosen a very interesting and relevant panel session topic. Our distinguished panel speakers are representing some of the finest schools of the country. They are the fraternity from school education sector. We are shortly going to witness some of the very meaningful and great deliberation, and I'm hopeful that we all will enjoy, learn, and enhance our knowledge from today's session. The session is going live on our LinkedIn page. We have also shared the same link on our FB page as well. We'll also be tweeting the content at ArdorComm Twitter handles. We simply have to search, if you want to search the ArdorComm handles, it's ARDORCOMM in continuation ArdorComm Media. If you'll search in the search bars of LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, you can track the pages. I would request and appeal everybody to kindly follow us so that you'll be updated with the live events and the news which is happening across. The links will be shared in the chat box. So kindly like and subscribe our social media pages. I request all our attendees and viewers to make this session more engaging and interesting with your valuable participation. You may ask question in the chat box or the Q&A box. Some of the relevant questions, I'll put it across the esteemed panel. So with this, now let me introduce the panel for the day. The session topic, as I said, is in what ways artificial intelligence, machine learning, and student-centric technologies are enabling institutions to track, access, and record the teaching learning progress. With us, we have a panel. I'll introduce Dr. Sushma Sehrawat. She is the President and CEO from Oasis Global School, Delhi. I welcome Sushma ji in today's event. She is the founder of Magic Films Productions and a Sai Trinity Organization, India. She has greatly identified the abilities and talents among rural students so as to sharpen their skills and knowledge through various extracurricular activities which are running in coordination with schools as well as community. These activities are focused on developing of child through nurturing 7 key art which requires to become a successful person, like dance, drama, music, elocution, drawing, sports, and knowledge transfer. Her NGO has adopted the highest standards of governance to emerge as a leading knowledge and technology driven, innovative, and scalable internationally. She is also the recipient of the title Mrs. India 2021. I welcome you, Dr. Sushma ji, in today's event. Our next speaker for the day is Ms. Shakila Banu. She is currently working as a Deputy Head Academics of the Assam Valley School, Balipara, Assam. Her educational qualification includes MSc B.Ed in Chemistry. Mrs. Banu was a part of pastoral care team and enjoyed being with children as house mistress. As a part of academic team, she worked as the head of chemistry department for 5 years, and in an administrative capacity, she has worked as the director of admissions for 8 years. Currently, she is in the position of deputy head academics. She has made significant contribution towards raising the standards of academic program at AVS. 27 years of a rich experience at AVS has given her a sight understanding of a boarding school to learn and serve in the driving force of her life. I welcome Shakila ma'am in today's event.
Thank you.
Our next panel speaker is Ms. Caroline Geetha. She's the principal of the Study Lecole International School, Puducherry. She is postgraduated in commerce with 25 rich years of experience as an academician, introduced financial literacy classes to the students from grade 4th onwards. I welcome Caroline ma'am in today's event. Our next speaker for the day is Mr. Deepak Kumar. He is a community member of one of a very good school in Chennai, Sri Venkateswara group of schools, and erudite mentor on robotics. This nanoelectronics engineer is armed with a mission to make Education 3.0 a reality, and ardent consociate of the community outreach program. He is positively personified with a vision to make nanoelectronics an accelerating stream to explore for school children. I welcome you, Deepak ji, in today's forum. Our next speaker for the day is Mr. Amey Parulekar. He is the head of business development Financepeer. Amey is a BTech engineer and is go-to guy for the school fee finance. He comes with a wealth of 15 rich years of experience and is also one of the founding members of Financepeer. Amey is a skilled professional. He is experienced in global sales and has worked for companies like Microsoft, eMudra, and Grupo Veritas. He envisions to ease out global school fee payments and boost the K-12 school education ecosystem. Welcome, Amey, in today's panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chandan.
So with this, let me just put a layout of what this session is going to be and what as an outcome we are looking from this session. I'll be also discussing on the innovation and tech collaborations which will help reduce the digital appeals in education sector. Concept of the event goes like, AI and ML, robotics, IoT, big data are now the new age technology terms which are frequently used in science fiction and are becoming more widely recognized as it becomes more integrated into our daily lives. Another era where new age technology has enormous potential in education. In fact, AI, ML, robotics, and gaming innovation in education has progressed from idealized laboratory scenarios to more complicated real-world learning scenarios. AI, ML, and robotic applications' ability to ingest data from multiple sources, interrogate it, and derive insights like predictive analytics to improve the teaching learning process. In what ways, in what it makes a more exciting advancement in the education technology. Newest technology and student-centric technologies have a ton of potential for development of social and emotional learning abilities because they allow educators to personalize instructions and analyze qualitative and quantitative data to help both teachers and students acquire these skills. The importance of teachers' position has been reasserted by the introduction of these fascinating new technologies, and the role of educator will be enhanced rather than replaced by technologies. Also, an easier financing solution and tech collaboration can help the partners to provide their children with the basic necessity for accessing good education. This way, it will reduce the urban-rural upheavals in education and bridge the digital divide to some extent. Let me open the forum by asking the first question to, I'll be asking it to Ms. Shakila Banoji, the Deputy Head Academics, Assam Valley School. Ma'am, how has technological advancement in terms of AI, ML, robotics, big data impacted the education sector? You may start with your introduction.
Yeah, I certainly feel that these technological advancements with the AI, ML, robotics, and big data has impacted the education sector in a great way. I feel like the AI fed big data, which has been like through our MIS systems in management information system from the school, actually helps us understand the student behavior very well. Like those all data stored and processed for future references in terms of academics, in terms of activities, sports. We are a residential school, so even the pastoral reports and all that has allow us to understand the student very well. It's not like after every exam, say for example, after every exam when we do the performance analysis with that MIS report, we not only just understand that particular exam result, but we can also compare it with the previous year's academic years, the same time, previous exam, previous batch, how they did, what are the strategies we used there, number of students, and how the results pan out on the basis of the numbers, on the basis of the batch averages, maybe the different streams. So we can then strategize for the current academic year. So that is very useful information for us when we take out all those information from the management information system. So certainly that gives us that, and it is almost on a like every semester when we have a exam, then we use this information to draw out our SWOT analysis and help further make our further strategies. So this is something which is, I certainly feel technological advancements have, and especially this big data helps us. So
Correct. Yes. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your opening remarks. May I please ask to link the same line of discussion from Caroline Geetha, ma'am? Would you like to put some more light on it?
Yes, this present shift in the school education because of this pandemic, what we have experienced is the digital sphere has given a wider range of exploring the subjects, not only for the teachers, but also for the students. So this AI and machine learning, all these things have helped both the students and the teachers to get to know the various areas which otherwise was not explored by the students and the teachers. The augmented reality and the virtual reality has made sessions or the classrooms come alive. So this 2 years of hybrid class has, or all these things have helped the institutions to explore more, and the parents are also able to know, judge what the children are performing, or what the schools are required, what the schools want their children to do. There is a systematic record of all the events and all the activities that the children do, both on the online platform. So that helps the parents to know their children better. So this all this technological advancement has only paved way for better learning strategies, and also do a thorough follow-up of what the teachers are doing in the class, and also what the students are doing in the teaching learning process.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So, so with this now, I would now like to invite our next panel speaker, Mr. Deepak Kumar. His expertise is into robotics and is also a nano electronics engineer, and definitely something in depth insight is going to come from him. Deepak, your remarks on it.
Thank you, Chandan, and thanks for the opportunity to share this panel with a bunch of really experienced teachers, academicians here. I represent Sri Venkateswara group of schools. It is one of the preeminent schools in Chennai. They have a lot of programs that fosters this type of using digital technology. We have Atal Tinkering Labs at our school, which is one of the missions through Atal Innovation Mission, which fosters creativities, computing, computational thinking, all that mindset. From the school's perspective, they use the parent and student portal CAMU and other apps, WhatsApp, and several different digital tools to communicate the lesson plan and all the track the progress that was made by kids. So definitely, as everybody else pointed out, the pandemic situation has ushered us all into this arena, which is a very good platform for us to leverage upon the advancements we have made in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Any assessment mechanism that involves understanding where a kid stands and caters the next level of learning plan or curriculum based upon that assessment digitally, if you have that, you're already into you're using AI and machine learning. So to simplify what a machine learning is, we are basically trying to have computers that mimic the human thinking to classify different things based upon what the data. So you just put them in different sockets. Same way you want the kids based upon the level of understanding sorted out into different categories and cater your learning accordingly. And our outcome is going to be everybody getting knowledge transfer to the maximum extent. So this is a very good philosophy or technology, especially when you move from teacher-centric to student-centric. If you think because our technology has improved so much, to give an example, your PC, your personal, your phone, personal mobile is a million times faster than the computer that was used to launch a rocket a few decades ago. Even if you compare the last 10 years, 1,000 times faster your DC phone. And our connectivity is not an issue. 5G is going to be 200,000 times faster than a 2G. So connectivity is not an issue. Processing power in the phone is not an issue. So you can have apps to really drive this machine learning and all the advancement for a really good outcome. And I guess, but nothing replaces teachers, the inspiration the teacher brings to the class, the emotional cues that a teacher picks up, and how caters the learning. It's just going to be a tool, an aid that teachers can use to accelerate students' progress.
Right, well said, Deepak. Like technology, though it is definitely enhancing the way we used to resolve our queries, but rather than it is not going to replace. In fact, it is going to enhance their productivity, and the outcome will be quite easier, quite accessible, and we can gauge it in a meter or whatever readings what has been an output in a very quicker way. It is a time-saving module. Thank you so much for that input. Now let me invite Amey into this discussion. Now he is into representing a different sector altogether, where he's a mix of finance and he's a mix of technology as well. So what will be your perspective, Amey, if I ask you a question? How can technology act as an enabler in the holistic development of the students from your perspective?
Sure. Thank you so much, Chandan. So yes, us being a new age startup, it does give us a lot of flexibility when it comes to going ahead and interacting with different institutions. So we work with really old school organizations, like something like a Doon School, which has been around since forever, or probably something like a White Hat Junior, where they are going ahead and they're trying the latest in technology and something which is razor sharp and path breaking things, which probably a lot of older accounts do not want to try out. So probably yes, that does give me a little bit of idea, and I get to interact with all of these guys. So one of the things which really comes to my mind is the fact that with technology, right, it helps with the understanding of subjects, which was something which was missing earlier. So initially, even when I was in school, way back, I completed my 10th standard in the year 2001. So back then, I remember a lot was about mugging. So definitions were very important. You need to know the definition word by word, even though you don't understand what it means. So all of that was super important. I really don't think that is the case anymore. Today, it's more of with the help of technology, a child can see things which he couldn't look at earlier. Like when I talk about momentum, when I talk about force, when I talk about acceleration, these are things which I can't see right in front of me, right? So if someone is talking about gravity, I can't see gravity. I don't know what it is. So it was very tricky for me when I was a student. Physics was something which I didn't like one bit. I was super fond of chemistry because I could see whatever is happening right in front of me. It was a lot easier that way. So I think that gap is bridged today with the help of technology, wherein I can go and I can explain things a lot better. So even now when we are watching TV, we look at the Byju's ads. The ad is another topic altogether, but the concepts that they try to explain through that is something which is super important. And that is something which works exceptionally well with children, because gadgets and technology is a part which you cannot take away from children. That's a given. I understand books are super important, but children do need to know how to go and how to use these instruments as well. And with the help of VR, with the help of AR, there is so much to do. So even a lot of medical students. So we work with Apple for some of the medical students in northern India, where on an iPad they can go and they can get into the human body and they can see how exactly what is where without the need of dissection, which they couldn't do in the last 1.5 years. So that is something which is again a path-breaking thing which I couldn't imagine when I was in my school. So the entire concept of mugging has now gone away, and it's more of understanding these concepts is something which is a lot better. Another thing that is dramatically different is the fact that when I was in schools, the teachers, when they used to come after the examinations, used to come with these huge piles of exam papers, and they used to sit and they used to manually keep checking these. And by the end of it, the teachers were completely exhausted doing this entire process. Today, the entire test is done online. There are softwares which can tell you which concepts the children are able to pick up very quickly, which are the ones which they are not able to understand, where you will maybe have to go and you'll have to personally explain a couple of things to some of the students. So maybe you need to go slow on certain aspects. Maybe some of the things are super easy. You can maybe start jogging through it and go a little faster in that. So all of these analysis which come out of it is something which was unheard of initially. And today, with the help of technology, it's a massive leap. A teacher now knows which are the students and which are it's not just the subject. I may be good at math, but probably algorithms is something which I'm not very happy about. Maybe trigonometry is something that I can't understand, but I'm great at algebra. So these things, these concepts, and where a child is falling behind is something which can very well be taken care of with the help of technology. So yes, it's a huge tool. The amount of devices, the amount of softwares available are also a lot, which can actually end up confusing us. But this is something, this is somewhere where we come into the picture, and we can go ahead and we can help you with whatever software that you may need, whatever information that you may need. We can tell you which are the good products in the market, and we can help you with that because we are incubated by Google. We have a strategic partnership with Apple. So yeah, if any one of you guys need any help with these, we are always there to help as well.
So yes, great, Amey. So this is how we need and certain, this is an era of collaboration and networking. The more we collaborate and network each other, the life become easier for us because everybody is expertise in their own domain. So why not to just focus on the area which we are and try looking for the technology partners or seek some technology help which will make the life of our teachers, of our parents, of our students quite easier. So when there is a technology comes, I every time don't say that it is definitely bound to a cost. Definitely there is a cost to it. But if we plan the finances in a better way, we can even save many of the costs, and we can rather invest that saved cost into more of the productive development of a overall making the infrastructure more digitally advanced in the school campuses. So with this, now let me go for the next round of discussion, which could be in a more depth and a deeper discussion. I would like to again ask Shakila ma'am, in what ways do student-centric technologies benefit the teaching learning process?
Yes, actually, as I really agree with all the panel members that pandemic has actually forced us to innovate and adapt to the new ways of teaching pedagogies. Actually, when initially when in a classroom, a teacher will go teach, and maybe how well organized that class would be, and maybe the maximum participation also, but then the whole retention power of the whole class content would be not lasting for long. But now with this kind of new technological advancements that we have, we can record the whole class. The child can even go through those recorded videos and go over and over and watch that and understand those concepts. So that was something which we have tried out. Like we have literally made the personalized videos in our school for our students, and then like it's a whole chapter been in a nutshell in 3 or 4, 5 sessions of 40 minutes each, and the child is able to understand those concepts. It's not just going through those recorded videos that the students are going to be helping themselves, but even the teachers are helping understanding their own lesson observations and refining their own teaching strategies. So that is something which we have really used during this pandemic to actually help improve our teaching techniques. And obviously there are a lot of digital platforms that the teachers are using to actually say, for example, like AI driven learning, testing and feedback. Like for example, when we use Google Form for it's a formative assessments for a class becomes much easier. All the responses that a teacher gets, it's very easy from those responses that where the particular whole class has been lacking a particular concept, a particular question has been well understood by the whole class, or where I need to revisit the certain concepts in my next class. So these things has helped teachers. And then like even there are a lot of digital tools that teachers are using to make the class more engaging and interactive. Like there are a lot of fun quizzes, there are breakout rooms, like then we make it more collaborative teaching and learning, which was earlier we were having, obviously, but then this kind of the kind of knowledge that the children can access again and again, and that the database that they have is, which was not earlier. It was not earlier. They used to go through obviously YouTube videos and all, but it's going to waste their time, and they are just going to be wasting their time looking at number of other different type of links and videos, and just going to waste their time. But here we can make a customized worksheets, so that at least we know exactly like what we need to focus on. So that is something which certainly these student-centric technologies have helped us.
So, Shakila, I can see, say, through your profile that you have a vast experience of 27 years, in heading a boarding school. What is the technology shift which you have experienced now? I was a boarder too. Since class 1. I have been a boarder, and today also I am just out. So for the students who have just entered the class 1, maybe you'll be taking admission. Those who have faced this 2 years pandemic, where they were not having a physical interaction with the peers and their co-students, what are the challenges in bringing, see, technology? I can understand they would be quite advanced in technology, but what about the human interaction and maybe friend-to-friend interaction? Are they scared, or are they?
Yeah, pandemic actually did not stop learning. For us, like we had to innovate in all the, like in a residential school, we have, in a boarding school, you have a complete daily schedule of getting up in the morning conditioning. Obviously, that did not happen. But obviously, starting from our physical classes, we went to digital classes. Then it was later on phygital classes, when some of the students were in the class and some of them were studying at home digitally. And then now we are back to our physical classes. But during that whole year, there is no looking back now. Whatever learnings that we have taken, there is no looking back. Like, for example, not just only classes. We also, because in a boarding school, we offer a lot of activity programs, a lot of events that is being hosted. The children are getting a lot of opportunities under one umbrella. What we could manage is, in fact, like any other normal year, it was better these years, where we could hold virtual events, and we had maximum participation. In fact, it actually helped us to create opportunities for their holistic development. Like, we could host a lot of events where earlier, during a normal scenario, we would have inter-school events, when there, due to certain reasons, geographical locations, there would be certain schools would back out in the last minute. But here in this time, we had a lot of maximum participation, and we overcome the geographical location factors, and it was much enriching experience for all the participants. So it in fact helped us to organize more events than any other normal year. Because in a boarding school, actually, it's a house spirit. The whole school is driven by a house spirit with a lot of inter-house activities. First, initially, we thought, how will we do that? But then once we started, we did the almost all inter-house one-act plays, and we had movie-making shows. All that could be done virtually, our kids have done. So that is something which was very much, which never happened earlier, that the children could make movie sitting far away from different corners. The students in their team have worked upon with various clippings and again edited and created a movie of 5 minutes. That never earlier used to happen. They used to come earlier they used to be in the campus. They will take a lot of excuses coming out from the classes and go for various shoots and make a creative movie for that. But this time it was completely like inter-house music competition. So all those Even we supervised the prep homework in the evening for the convenience of parents. We supervised prep also. So that was something which it was just a kind of innovating on a daily basis.
Absolutely, ma'am. I can imagine. So for normal day boarding school, the timing is morning to afternoon.
5:15, yes.
But for boarding is like 24/7. Every day you have to,
Yes.
keep an eye and you have to make them motivated, feel live, feel
Yeah.
happy. So I can
Like
understand.
even for the yoga classes or certain
Yeah.
morning conditioning classes was offered like online. So it was like, yes, somehow we tried. Yes. But one thing I must tell you when you're talking about human connect, when we got all our board examinees for the first time when they had, so in order to, they had lost track of talking to each other. In fact, I must share over here that in first one of the socials that we created, there was a huge group of boys on one side and girls one side that we had to actually make them mingle because they have lost touch. But obviously they are very much connected through the social platform, they were, but yes, initially it took hardly 1 week or something like that and they have come. I still remember one of our class 12 at that time, they were, by the time when they came in December, they said our whole life of 9 months has shrunk to 15 days, like nothing, we can enjoy the school life. So but that was there, but hardly take 1 week and everybody was on track, and the whole main school building and the whole campus was again having that vibe of children.
Great. Great. Thank you for sharing that experience with us, ma'am. May I invite Caroline Geetha ma'am to understand from you in what ways student-centric technologies benefit teaching learning experiences and process.
Thank you. I fully agree with Shakila Mamji. This online platform did pave a greater way for involvement of not only the children, but also the family members, especially when we conducted the activities online. Had it been in a regular school, then we always have a select group of students participating in the various events. But on the online platform, we could see the parents getting excited about the whole thing and they becoming more active and helping their children to participate. So when we had these programs and other things conducted online, we could see that many students who otherwise would not have participated were participating because of the support that was given by the family members. Okay, so that was a very welcoming sign, and that gave a greater confidence about the entire process for the parents and also the students themselves.
Okay, ma'am. Caroline, ma'am, any specific, say, technology which you have been using in your campuses, which was, say, helpful for teachers as well as for students? Any experience?
We were using the Microsoft Team as the platform,
Okay.
and that really helped the entire community to keep track of the various events. Like you have where like you can have the classes recorded. So that was one great relief for the teachers and also the students who were missing out on the classes. Maybe due to some reason or other, they were not able to attend a class, or there was a power shutdown or something like that. But still they had the classroom recorded, which otherwise in a physical class is not possible. So this way it really helped, and it's not only the students themselves, it was also the entire household. Sometimes we could see the entire family there at the background listening to the teacher. So though it initially the teachers felt intimidated, but later it became a part of acceptance, and they could try to impress more. It went as if like the teachers started preparing better to impress on the whole family. So that way there were more of advantage by use of all these digital platform.
Right.
So it made the learning more better.
More better. Right. So apart from the delivery of lectures, ma'am, as you use the MS Teams, how does your ERP? You must be using ERPs, any of the ERP system for getting fees, any daily updates, the timetable to be shared with the students and
We do
parents.
have. Yes.
So in what ways the ERP actually helps, and do everybody is user friendly to the ERP app?
No, keeping the background of the school where ours is situated,
Yes,
not the entire community was able to access. Okay, so there were shortcoming, and many people were not tech friendly. So those children and the families were felt they were left out.
Okay.
So there was a little hitch, and but they tried to, we have to keep the rural background also in mind, because we cater to almost 60-40 to, though our school is situated in a very prominent area, but still there are students from rural area. So keeping them in mind, I wouldn't say that it was as to what we try to do with the digital platform, both for academics and also for the other things. But slowly they are also getting used to it, and they are also learning. This 2 years of pandemic has been a learning for both the parents and the entire community, I would say.
Okay, ma'am, but great effort. I can understand the enthusiasm a student and an educator keeps in, in lowering the digital divide in rural and urban area.
Yes,
you are one such example.
It's a challenge. It's a real challenge.
It's a challenge, but we all are enjoying. It's a part and parcel. So sooner we learn, better we'll be in a good position to. Because this is not going to end, ma'am. It is going to continue from now onwards. It is not that the pandemic is over and everything is gone, so life will be back on chalks and blackboard. No, people are more used to this kind of a physical environment, and they are liking it. Even parents are also enjoying it. It has helped them to use many technologies and apps. Earlier, it used to be mostly, I guess, 4 to 5 apps at the max. Now, 2-3 screens are full of apps, and almost every app you are fond of using it. Great. So salute to you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You are doing a very good work at your whatever specified area and capacity which you are doing that work. My question to Mr. Deepak Kumar now: how, or maybe what are the role of newest technology, Deepak, in socio-digital transformation in school education sector? How is newest technology helping in transforming the social life and the digital life of a school education sector?
Well, I can, the newest technology in different ways, it does help. One of the things that one of the user had asked is, how do you counsel the parent of the things that are happening? Right now, we have the ability to take a video, the teacher can record a video, or the administrative personnel can record a video and distribute it across all WhatsApp platforms, right? The information gets communicated to everyone on YouTube live. Things get communicated. If there is a new change that comes from the education board that needs to be communicated to the parents, there is some new syllabus changes or whatever the rules and regulations, it gets immediately communicated by making a videos, and it gets disseminated. So in that way, the transfer of information is really quick, because everybody have cell phones. In terms of payments, you had asked about payments. I hear in the beach, in some of the rural areas, everybody has a QR code to take digital payments. The digital payments has progressed so much. So the general public has become so much comfortable with digital payments. So the transaction of money has become very efficient with digital technology and all the tools available, apps available. In terms of apps, the kids are able to record what they have learned while they are at home and send it to their teacher. They have become very innovative, creative in using these apps, these video making tools both the teachers and the kids. The teachers are, the teachers who have been teaching for 30, 40 years, who have never, who have hesitated to touch a laptop or a computer or phone, have adapted themselves because their motivation is to make sure the kid is learning through this pandemic, and that has forced them to adopt technology. And everybody is the apps are so user friendly that they are making those videos and disseminating information. On the other hand, the parents, teachers are also making some efforts to make this interaction very creative. In terms of other things that I can think of, advancement in technology in other countries, the face recognition is being used for tracking attendance, or what is the who all attended the class today, who left early, or even who stayed till the end. So that takes care of some of the administrative tasks by a teacher. Thinking of the calendars of all the teachers, how can we find the substitution teacher? So if all the calendars are synced, right, you quickly come up with, this is a good example of artificial intelligence. Which teacher is available, whose time can be most efficiently used today, this hour, this minute, to go and teach this class, depending upon her skill set, depending upon her commitments to go to other classes. You come up with all these interactive planning that a human mind doesn't have to do. The computer can actually do it for you and tell you who is the person that can be assigned. And thinking of the curriculum, and the important part I want to emphasize, I see the most value is in the assessment of your teaching, which several of you pointed out. At the end of a week class, a lot of times, and historically, I have grown up with having the pressure to write down what the teacher has taught within the 30, 40 minutes, and things might get lost. And teacher might be the best teacher, but she or he was in a pressure to make sure the curriculum is covered in that 30-minute and things move on. But now in the pandemic, the hours have shrunk. You just have 3-4 hours, and you need to do maximum impact on the class. So they have started exploring what tools can be used at home to disseminate information and make it as efficient as possible. And how do we track through the assessments? And are we going slow, fast, and all that? These assessments give you the feedback right away. At the end of the week, it can guide you whether 50% of the class hasn't understood, then you have to retake the class, like Shakila, Banu ma'am had pointed out. So you have to use these technologies. It has become you're forced to use them because the time has shrunk for the teacher-student interaction, and also the kid needs to be more engaged these days. The attention span has gone down, so you're forced to use these technologies. And assessment is a very important thing. There is our Montessori system has been a good example where student-centric. The student leads the way. Student gives cues to the teacher how to go about in the learning process. It has been there for several years. I think we are seeing something like that now, where the student-centric approaches are going to give cues in terms of those assessments, in the way they are sharing information back, responding to cater the plan for a set of students or an individual one-on-one, setting up some plan for one-on-one interaction. So all that is going to be revolutionizing the way a student is learning at school. So.
Okay. So Deepak, you stressed more on the assessment part of it. I understand assessment is how it is important. Assessment of students, assessment of faculty, it's all important. When we say implant, or when we buy new technology in a school campus, there is a training which is involved, and I'm sure that training every educator must be giving to their teachers first, then to students. What are the parameters of teacher training for any technology? What do you follow in your schools?
So in our school, in terms of teacher training, again, parameters are going to be the curriculum, how they come up with the test curriculum or the lesson plan, right? That would be an indicator. How they are disseminating that information would be an indicator on how the teacher is being trained. And there are a lot of training sessions that happened even during pandemic, virtually and also in person. So I guess in terms of parameters, I would say the outcome, the student is going to be the indicator whether the teacher training is successful or not. And I guess this whole digital thing has forced teachers to immediately create content, and those would be a good indicator. If they have some issues with the apps, help needs to be offered to them. Some training needs to be offered to them, and that would translate. If there is no success in there, it would translate to not having success on student side. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You just pointed out the right word. Student is going to be the the parameter or the indicator where he's getting the learning teaching methodology or method is easy or not, whether he is able to understand that method or not. So
I want to point out, it's okay for different teachers have different learning curves, and everybody are not going to have the learning curve. I'm sure Shakila, Banu ma'am, and Carolyn ma'am, everybody would have encountered. But what is important is, the ability, adaptability, ability to learn. And as a teacher, there is that inherent motivation to learn any new thing because you want the student to succeed. So I guess the teachers should be given that freedom, the time to get trained to be successful.
So teacher training it plays a very crucial and very important role. And with technology investment, we should also invest in the teacher training programs. And that teacher training means the fast they are able to adopt digital competencies, the easier your methodology of delivering lecture and examination and the assessment, it becomes all easier and very calculative and informative. Great. Thanks for your input, Deepak. I would invite the input from Amey now. Amey, how can innovation and financing partnership can help educational institutions to build a better digital infrastructure?
Sure. In fact, that's a great question, because today everyone during the pandemic, right, it's worked as a catalyst wherein everyone is now working to go ahead and improve their institution, not just in terms of the way in which it looks, but also in terms of the technology part of it, as to how good it is. So when the pandemic hit us, right, nobody was prepared for this. So we all thought that probably it's just going to be 15 odd days, maximum a month, and probably things are going to bounce back. So it was a very rude shock to everybody. But similarly, one of the things that works out is when a forest burns out, it works as a great fertilizer for the smaller crops to then start growing. That is the same thing that happened. Similarly, when demonetization happened, people started using the QR codes, they started using Paytm, Google Pay. That's when we realized the importance of actually not carrying cash everywhere. Similarly, I feel education institutions are now understanding that it's fairly important to have a certain cushioning. They need to be working with good financial partners who can help them get the entire amount upfront on day one, rather than wait for the fees until the end of the year. It's not really something which is highly recommended. So just the way in which we do a lot of research, we ensure that if we are working with a certain banking partner, we're working with somebody who's the best in the business. Similarly, I would say that choosing a good financial partner is something which is super important. Please do your research, check around, ensure that whichever financial partner that you're working with are some of the best in the industry. Along with this, I think a hugely important part is training the teachers, which was slightly neglected in at least in the first year of the pandemic. where it was a huge obstacle. Definitely, yes, students, parents, they would keep saying that they're finding it very difficult to manage. But hey, what about the teacher who's actually going ahead and she's going through a dramatic change in her conventional from a conventional teaching models to now having a parent sit through every single thing that she's doing and every single thing that she's teaching. So there's a lot more scrutiny. There is a lot more eyeballs which are going ahead and scrutinizing whatever every step that the teacher is taking. So yes, in terms of technology, we need to train our staff. We need to ensure that the staff is aware of what are the modern tools which are available in terms of teaching. Another great thing that a lot of schools have done, especially in the metropolitans, is that they've used their turf, the grounds and their area really well. So my school is one of the oldest in Mumbai, so it's a 150-year-old school. So what they did was they installed. So we are blessed to have 3 football courts in our school. So what they had was they had these huge floodlights and a great turf laid out. And we started giving out to corporates in the evening. So now a corporate will go ahead and they'll have their football tournaments, their cricket tournaments on a ground. And the school went ahead and they realized a great amount of fund. So, but the whole idea is for you to build that, you need a certain capital which is needed on day one, which is something which your financial partner can help get. Another thing is investing in a very good ERP system. I've spoken to so many institution owners. A lot of people were very late in adopting a good ERP system, which will go and which will help with not just teaching in terms of LMS, in terms of managing the books, in terms of managing the inventory, the salaries, the admissions, everything can be handled by a great ERP. So we have our own ERP system, which is one of the best in the industry. We are giving it away for free of charge for all of the schools that we are working with. So feel free to contact us if you need a better ERP system. It has got everything right from a proper digital campus to going ahead and having the entire education system recorded into it. So all of that can be done through our ERP as well. Another big gap which people keep saying is that, hey, blended learning is here to stay. But what about the devices? What are students going to learn on? Like our domestic help, when she used to come home, she was always like, so I need to wrap up at around 9:30 in the morning because my child's school starts. And we just have one phone in the house and all of us are sharing that phone. So they will have to learn through this phone. So that's why I'll have to go back home. So that kind of lit a spark, and we spoke to Apple, we spoke to Samsung. We brought in Apple devices, Samsung devices at prices which are much cheaper than Amazon, and we are giving it to all of the schools now. So if if student can pay an EMI of even 2,500 rupees per month, they can take home an Apple iPad today and they can start learning from that. So that is something which we are also trying to do. Another thing was we have brought in all of the top education providers on one platform on our Financepeer app. It's called the Financepeer Infinity, Ed Infinity. So on that, we have everyone right from FlipLearn to Byju's to all of the stalwarts of the industry, White Hat Junior, the likes, where your child can go ahead and upskill themselves. They can learn additional tasks through that. And they don't need to pay anything for it because whatever school fee that they're paying, they get 10% of that as cashback, which they can use on these portals. So that's also something which is super beneficial to them. Along with this, I believe someone was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dinesh, Deepak was talking about facial identification for attendance. So what we've done is we have our own student card. So it's like a small credit card and an ID card which a child can use. They can make any transaction in the vicinity of the school. So if they want to purchase stationery, if they want to purchase something from the canteen, they don't need cash for it. They can use that card. Along with that, that also works very well as an attendance regulator. So when they're walking in the class, it will automatically identify how many children are there in the class, and the attendance can be auto-populated. So we're working on similar technologies. We are trying to make life a little bit better from the school, for a school's perspective. We like to keep our ears open. We like to keep our eyes open. We keep getting feedback from them. And that's how we have changed from just a financing company to a proper ed tech, which is helping you with all the needs that you may have for your educational institution. So yes, whatever that. So I don't think I'm the best person to tell you as to how you can go. What is the infrastructure that you need to build? But whatever that you've imagined, for that, whatever capital that is required, whatever technology that is required, I'm here to help you with that. I'd like to close with that. Thank you, Chandan.
Thanks, Amey. Very interesting thing which I came to understand in your talk is that how a parent or a student can save some money while planning their technology partners, and with that saved money he can invest it to learn or buy some other app which can help him in making his studies more advanced and digitally apt. So
Exactly.
this is how the saving, as I was discussing and I was telling in my previous remark, that this technology is not about only investment, it is also about saving. So a right investment subsequently ends to a right savings as well. And definitely these technology partners can help us making our say campuses more digitally advanced. And where Caroline ma'am was also talking about the rural urban digital divide. This is how we can help lower this divide as well. So coming back to the discussions, Shakila ma'am, I would like to ask you, what is the new is the role of the newest technology in socio-digital transformation, like and in this newest technology which is adapted in your school, which segment is you are working well? Is it admissions? Is it handling inquiries? Is it in delivery of lectures, or in assessment? Which part of the academics or curriculum is working better for you, and which technology is helping you, ma'am, in your school?
Can you please repeat the question? Am I supposed to, you've asked me?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm
Sorry,
asking
there was a
you.
power cut. I've
Yeah,
lost
no problem.
track of it.
Shakila ma'am, I'm asking you, we are talking about so much of technology, newest
Yes,
technology in
yes,
AI, ML, robotics,
yes.
gaming, big data. Which part of or which technology has helped your school, and in which and which segment? Is it handling the admission inquiries? Is it about delivering the lectures? Is it about conducting the examination, assessment, or teacher training, or maybe a parents teacher meeting? Which part of that segment has helped more?
Actually, if I say like these new technologies, like when we start from the teaching point of view, we have used for initially during the pandemic, we used like for our classes, we used Zoom sessions, we used Zoom as a platform. Then we, for the database, we kept Google Classrooms, we created those. Then from the professional development point of view, because we immediately put all our funding of our physically, when teachers have to go for any kind of an outsourced workshop, now we transferred it to all online workshop and shift our funding, and we tried as much as possible in the initial days to have kind of all workshops on hybrid learning and various tools. That's what we tried first to equip our teachers. We took help of our IT team, and whole of the department, whole of the school, all teachers in their department, in a small groups, we provided them the professional development one-to-one, how to create Google Forms, how to use the data. Even when we tried for like just as cost-effective methods as much as possible to actually telecast all our lectures from a main school building, because our teachers were stuck in the main school building. We were here in the campus, students were not in the campus, so we were lucky to use those main school building classrooms, and we dedicated each and every teacher one classroom, and that's how we could use those infrastructure of school to give that type of teaching learning experience. Then we tried to innovate. We used webcam in our laptop and tried to project the blackboard or the notice board. Then we switched all of our green boards into white boards, so that it becomes very easy for the teachers. Then many of the teachers used their graphic tablet to actually complete their classes. So that was those of the things. In the assessment, we used Google Forms, and a lot of in our end of summer semester, like every semester exams, we tried to take the semester exams with the proper invigilation. So we made a full duty roster for the invigilation through the Zoom platform. Only we supervised our examination systems, and then the children were made proper question paper, and then they did the entire paper, scanned and sent, and then teachers used various tools like Amey and many other things for evaluation, so that they can give proper feedback and comments. So that was there. And as far as professional development is concerned, right now as I'm speaking, there are teachers who are actually having POXO training program as well is happening. So like this way, we try to do as much as possible online training program for our teachers during these sessions.
Lovely, lovely, Shakila. So all these important, digital tools which you made, definitely. First of all, it is a fun-loving, it is cost-effective, it saves times, and in just click of mouse you reach to a larger set of audience.
Yes.
And they are quite attentive, and everything, when they know that this is only the platform where I'm going to be assessed. So the attendance and their attention to that particular tool, it increases automatically.
One more thing I just wanted to add, like for student-centric technologies brings more of a differentiated learning and individualized experience. Like we used Prodigy, like in maths, so that at least it's giving a kind of a students are actually, it's a gamified version of actually solving maths problems, and then the whole AI-driven tool is actually focusing on understanding where the key areas that the child needs to focus. These AI-driven devices are very helpful in actually analyzing that where is the problem area that the child needs to work on, and then it gives a lot of emphasizes with various types of questions at that same level, so that the child is understanding those concepts from a different perspective and then going to the higher level. So those are the things which also has helped us. Like other DA test we had used, where we used an online OMR sheet. We used to get the whole of the assessment results we used to get, and it was very easy for us to get at the click of the button all the results and the responses, that which particular question was not done well by the whole class, and so that sort of thing we used.
Yes. So in boarding, ma'am, just of curiosity, when I come to ask that thing, because I have also experienced and learned in terms of ma'am, safety and hygiene. How do you manage that part of it?
Yeah, first of all, we have our there are laptop timings that we give. And there are security also from a whole IT department has firewalls, and then so that they are not accessing many other websites, which is not required. However, children keep coming in the name of, because the personalized videos that we have created for the students, in the name of that, they keep on asking extra time for internet services. So we have fully Wi-Fi and we have expanded our internet services also. But yes, there is initially when we called the children, mobile was there, then we had to take it back, because smartphones more than teaching and learning is being misused by many students. So then we have just kept it to only laptops will be allowed, and obviously tabs to a certain extent, and then we are slowly restricting it to only tabs, because only laptops, because tab also has an eSIM option, so that also been misused by many students. So we try, but then yes, we have a whole pastoral care provider team is there, and there are particular timings when they have to submit the laptop, and they have to charge. There is a tutor system who are actually taking care of that the child has submitted and taken the laptops. So those things are have to be done, and that's why in a boarding school every teacher is a 24/7. There is a kind of a roster duty.
Right, right. Thank you so much for that insight, ma'am. So now I would like to ask from Caroline, ma'am, as we are gradually, we have moved from brick and mortar to the smart classrooms. What is the change which you have experienced, ma'am, and what kind of technology helped your institution in making that teaching learning process more easier? Or maybe let me redraft, ma'am. Which technology is helping in improving your process? Is it admission process? Is it handling the queries which is coming, say, from the website or from different sources of your, advertisement of advertisement? How to handle those advertisement queries? How to respond them? Your examination, your teaching. So, which part you think this technology should be used to smoothen your process, ma'am? Am I audible to you, Caroline, ma'am? Okay, so by the time she joins, let me ask a question to Amey. Amey, ma'am, you are back?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, were you able to
Because
listen my question, ma'am? Should I repeat?
Yeah, please, because I was not able to hear your question.
I understand. How's the condition of electricity, ma'am, at your part of?
The condition of electricity is okay, but we have the Pondicherry jail very close by, and we have the jammer. So
Okay.
sometimes we will have difficulty in getting connected. So connectivity is a little issue.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was asking, ma'am, the process of admission or student intake is like handling the inquiry of any prospect through maybe an advertisement, through website, through telephone inquiry. Then
through the
yeah.
Through the pandemic, the admission inquiries were very helpful. No, we were able to help because we had parents from other, wanting to come back to Pondicherry from other places, like in other parts of the world also. So they were all trying to contact, and the website we had really helped the parents also to contact us, and admissions we were able to be very successful using this digital way. Which otherwise would not have. And also next was the assessment and also the teacher training. Because like we, when this pandemic started and when we had to start with the digital platform, we were all in our homes. So it was very difficult initially to train our teachers. And it was a great struggle, and it was a new thing, like we were like just asked, thrown into the water and asked to swim. So that was the condition we were all in, and technology was not our cup of tea at that moment. But then we were able to rise up to the occasion and have the training program done as to how to use the various platform. Like we also started with Zoom, and then we moved on to the Microsoft Teams, and how to share a video, how to have a, especially when it came to teaching of mathematics, accountancy, and things like that, we had to learn a lot of different other apps and things like that to make presentable for the students. So there was a great learning process that happened for the teachers, and we were also able to train the teachers. We were able to bring in our own computers department and other teams to teach our faculty members as to how to use the various platforms. And of course, even the other like fee collection, other things became easier with the digital.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for that input. Let me ask Deepak. I would ask you, your expertise is into robotics. Which part of robotics is could be implemented into school classes, and is it only STEM or anything else? If I talk about robotics into school education, and which
You know,
age group would be more
Mhm.
beneficial, which age group it will be more benefited? Like, is it the early classes, or it could be for the 10th, 12th boards also?
Okay. So I think robotics can be useful, this educational robotics, right from young age as low as kindergarten, because you have Lego robotics. They can make stuff with Lego, and there are all kinds of programming methodologies. You can program a robot. Even a kindergartner can use some blocks to come up with a logical code and put them in a sequence or sort them out. Like, and I think the important part is of the robotics is making them work in a team, in a group, because they learn, they brainstorm, and they come up with a solution to a problem. And then also in that process, they start learning how to be inclusive of each other's opinion, encourage another person, involve a person who is less participative, teach him. So that in that whole scenario, the teacher all needs to do is sit there and facilitate that as a moderator and teach the concepts, which they would directly implement in their projects. So right from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade, robotics can be used. Robotics also, I think, in the way you can have competitions, which may which not only kids are competitive. They love competition. They get even more motivated. Maybe from middle school onwards, having robotics competitions. STEM, it could be Lego robotics, or you can grow from Lego to something that they can make in the, like we have adult tinkering labs. They can make something, or they could outsource it to a machine house outside. They do all the CAD designs, everything, then put together the actual functioning robot that solves a challenge. And not only solves a challenge, it competes against each other, like football, all those things robots can do. But the whole process is not just educational, it also develops team spirit. It also develops a lot of social skills. In terms of, so robotics is going to be useful for different things, communication and math, science, STEM, all STEM, and also arts, the way you put it to all together. And in terms of communication, how do you explain what you have learned to a judge who comes in, or to your fellow teammates, to make sure they understand your opinion? You can be the most smart kid, but then you may not be a good team player. You need to convince your team members to make sure we are going to implement this versus that. So that's going to be a very important quality or a skill that they would learn as part of a robotics project. So that's in general about robotics. But anything that has to do with image recognition, the robotic vision, it's all going to be used in machine learning, right? Even for example, the objective type of test has been very successful. Assessment. If you have an assessment, the objective, you have Google Sheets that people can fill forms. You can sort out the responses. But what a teacher can get from essays, something that captures written essays and picks some keywords that are wrong, that tells the weakness of a kid in terms of spelling or grammar structure. Those are the type of things that can save a teacher's time digitizing those images into words, and then highlighting some errors that might make teachers' time more efficient. So those type of things there are several different things. The things that come to my mind are those, because I call that as also robotics, because it involves an image sensor and all that, scanning and all that stuff. The other item that I can think about is just assistant to the teacher, right? Especially now we are at a point where we have a lot of demand for teachers, and we are not able to fill. So that there could be an assistant. I'm just looking 20, 30 years from now. a teacher assistant who, or it could be just a kiosk in different corners of the room, right? That kids can go and sit down to, if they are not clear in some of the foundational principles, the teacher can go to that counter and learn that principle and come back. Even the whole concept of adaptive machine learning is the kid, for example, Prodigy or any of those apps, make sure the kids go through a cycle of a cycle, so that if a kid is not good in a concept, it goes little lower and teaches that concept. It goes further lower and teaches, and then refines it so that they come back. So all that could be implemented in terms of robots or kiosks, in terms of physical devices out there. So there are several things, I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg here.
Yes, I can understand. So the way you told that from Lego robotics, it can go to any level beyond it, and the way adult tinkering labs are also very helpful. In when the time pandemic was not there, adult tinkering labs were taking a larger larger penetration into most of the schools, and people were really enjoying it. The students, the teachers, everybody was using it. And the way STEM has transformed into STEAM, including arts also into it, this is how robotics is helping all the age group from from KG to maybe PG level. Everybody can include that robotics into that curriculum. Definitely. Thanks for that insight, Deepak. Would now I'd like to ask Amey. Amey, if like suppose any school is looking for a certain certain financial support or services from Financepeer, do we have any a low in cost product and services, or maybe a free in cost product and services which a school as a beta experience can implement in their school? Experiencing it, maybe they can go for a.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, so when we came up with the entire concept of Financepeer, it's not a one size fit all concept. So to be fairly honest, every school, every area has its own requirements, right? Like when I was speaking to some of the panelists over here, I believe Carolyn mentioned that 60-40 is the ratio of urban to rural population at her institution. So I believe the requirements of every single institution is going to be different. I'm not just talking about urban to rural. I'm talking about something like some of the accounts may just have a problem in going ahead and recovering the fee in the first place. Some of them may feel that the fee is good, the parents want to pay it, but there is not access to good devices. That is something that we can plug in. Along with that, in case if some of them feel that, hey, during the pandemic, a lot of parents are now asking us, what more are you doing as compared to all of the other schools in the neighborhood? Is there something extra that your school is doing? So that's where Financepeer comes in. We give them extra courses, whatever fee. So even if their fee say 1 lakh rupees, 10,000 of that goes to them as cashback, and that 10,000 they can use for anything. They can, if they want, they can learn cooking with Sanjot Kheer on our website, or they can go ahead and if they want to learn robotics, we have a lot of partners who are going ahead and teaching that for as little as around 4,000 and 5,000 rupees as well. So that is something which adds tremendous value for money. Along with this, a lot of institutes ask us that we need a good, robust LMS. We need a good, robust ERP that we are giving out free for all the education institutions. So that is also something that we can cover. And along with this, we do come up with a host of other features like student cards and a lot of other things that we offer along with it. So like for one of the boarding schools in Dehradun called Missouri International, we brought in the faculty of Harvard to go ahead and do a course of on this thing on entrepreneurship at their campus. So that is something that we had done for them. For JECRC in Jaipur, we are doing workshops for robotics and for AI and ML, and also entrepreneurship through Apple. So that's also something that we can do. So the sky is the limit, to be very honest. And even if there is something that I can't do today, if we do hear from schools that, hey, this is a requirement and this is a gap that needs to be filled, we are more than happy to incorporate that into our existing offers as well.
Great. So yes, sky is the limit, as you said, Amey. And
So Chandan, I want to just add one thing, the robotics on that. We donated Sri Venkateswara group of schools and where I work, analog to Oasis few clubs here. They donated some kits to rural schools in Chennai, around Chennai. The kids were, they were so inspired and they got so motivated. They figured out themselves. The teachers didn't know how to teach them, but with the manuals and all that stuff, they were able to come up with the different experiments for different concepts, and they were quickly able to put it to use. There are some hindrances that we faced was translating the English materials to the local language that some kids wanted. So those type of things are, if we have some support system to cater to regional schools, and even that gap that Carol and Geetha ma'am mentioned on that underprivileged areas, sending these kids or sending these educational materials would be helpful. And also loaning phones and tablets to the families during it would be a good thing. But I am sure, I guess Amey mentioned his partnership with Apple and all the Samsung has helped. Kudos to all that effort. Yeah.
So yes, so thanks Deepak for that insight and that information. In fact, it had been a wonderful session throughout, and a lot of great insights we have been hearing from different schools of different part of the countries. And one thing is for sure, that we have all sailed through a similar situation, and the way of dealing the situation has been different, obviously in our own capacity, which we have been doing. And believe me, this education sector and I guess health sector were the only two sectors which were still on, though physically we were off, but digitally we were on. So the hospitals and healthcare were also literally on because they had to be. But education parallelly was equally on, because we didn't honestly want to lose any year or any month of our kids go waste and vain. In fact, that helped learn better and more. And believe me, the students will be out of this 2 years would be more smart, would be more adaptive. And the best part is that they have seen the worst, so now they are going to see the best. So it was not like us, that for us it was the worst, but for them, the kids who are going to come as a new generation which is coming, they have seen the worst already. So whatever they are going to say is now the best part of it. So that will be keep on adding. So with this, thank you so much, all the eminent speakers, for joining in. So, we would, as an ArdorComm Media, we would just like to do small honors. We would like to felicitate you with a certificate for appreciation and your exemplary contribution in the field of school education. So this certificate goes to Shakila, the Deputy Head of Academics, Assam Valley School. Ma'am, congratulations for participating here as a distinguished speaker.
Thank you so much.
Certificate goes to Caroline Geetha, ma'am, the Director of the Study Lecole International School. Thank you, ma'am, for participating.
Thank you, sir.
Certificate is presented to Mr. Deepak Kumar, Committee Member, Sri Venkateswara Group. Thank you so much, sir, for joining all the way from US, and you managed to block your calendar even in the early morning of your timing. Thank you so much, Deepak.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
So this goes to Mr. Amey Parulekar, the Head of Business Development Financepeer. Thanks, Amey, for supporting ArdorComm Media and being a digital partner in for implementing and executing this 3 months long series of Education Leadership Symposium. And definitely we have gone a long way together, and we have engaged a lot of universities, schools, different ideologies from different parts of the country. And somewhere we have helped to lower the gap or lower the bridge of the digital literacy, which in our own capacity, which we'll be having. So thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, everybody. At ArdorComm Media Group, we aim to become India's leading and most desirable media voice by enriching community with the ecosystem of knowledge sharing platform, information and news. And we are also opening doors of networking in collaboration with this. We hope that you all have enjoyed and learned valuable insights from this interesting and meaningful deliberation. We thank all our eminent speakers for contributing their valuable time and insightful speech and thought with us. I thank Financepeer for supporting ArdorComm. We are very thankful to all the teachers, academicians, and students who have joined us to witness this event as an attendees. We truly appreciate your time with us. And keep following our social media handles. You just have to type ArdorComm. Let me repeat again and again. It's ArdorComm, ARDODORCOMM. And please follow our handles. It's not only the webinars and events which we do. There's a lot of content which is flashing across our social media handles. We are very much into writing blogs, articles, interviews. And I appeal all the academicians also, if any good thing which you're doing at your campus, any achievement, any allocates, or any new launches, do share with us with ArdorComm. As a free media journal, we'll like to evaluate it and publish it for a larger audience to to capture and use it. So and ArdorComm Media wishes all the best to the students who are appearing for 10th and 12th board examinations. All the best kids for appearing this CBSE board examination, and definitely stay inside the home during this hottest part of the year. And wear a hat, carry an umbrella, be hydrated, drink lot of plenty of water, and remember, please remember, pandemic is still not over. So stay safe and stay in a positive environment. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.